So the main issue that I had was with gout. I had it in both toes last year. Last year was the worst I've had it. Over the last, crikey, 20 years, I've had gout on and off those. And basically that last year was really bad. It started in one toe and then it would settle down. So I'd take tablets or whatever I needed to do, like allopurinol or naproxen or something like that. It was settle down, but then as it just started to go, I'd then get gout in the next toe. And I just had a vicious cycle of that. But in the past, it's only really been for about a week. And this time it sort of lasted for like months and months. I just couldn't get rid of it. I've been on the carnivore diet now strictly for about 6 months. But before that, I was on keto again, probably for about 6 months. I sort of transitioned over just naturally, it just felt right for me. On the keto diet,
Hi, folks. Our guest today is John Mortimer. I appreciate you being with us today, John. He's been on the carnivore diet for quite some time and he's seen some significant results thus far. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah, hi there. As you say, my name's John. I'm from over here in the sunny UK, just outside London. I'm a personal trainer, a conditioning coach, primarily a climber, but I also do some martial arts. And I've experienced some good results in the carnivore diet.
That's awesome. So, can you kind of tell me a little bit about health issues and conditions that you've had that's plagued you for a while, that, complications and whatnot, stuff that's bothered you?
Yeah, okay. So the main issue that I had was with gout. I basically had it in both toes last year. Last year was the worst I've had it. Over the last, crikey, 20 years, I've had gout on and off those. So I've had it maybe let's say every couple of years, I get a flare up. And basically that last year was really bad. It started in one toe and then it would settle down. So I'd take tablets or whatever I needed to do, like allopurinol or I what's it called, naproxen or something like that. It was settle down, but then with it as it just started to go, I'd then get gout in the next toe, and I just had a vicious cycle of that. But in the past, it's only really been for about a week, and this time it sort of lasted for like months and months. I just couldn't get rid of it. Um, I've also had acne, not bad, not like cystic acne or anything like that. Acne since I was a kid. Always had acne, and that's gone as late. That's something that's really settled down. Uh,
Wow.
but that's about it, really. Yeah, no, it's mainly those two things though. They all brought me to the carnivore diet.
So that's interesting. Most people that are in opposition of this way of eating will say that eating red meat will cause gout. So
Yeah,
has that been the case for you in terms of, you know, has it made the
no,
condition worse?
no. It has kept the flares away. I've been on the carnivore diet now strictly for about 6 months. But before that, I was on keto again, probably for about 6 months. I sort of transitioned over just naturally. It just felt right for me. On the keto diet, it did slowly start to go. But what I found is initially, let's say the first 3 or 4 weeks, I had a flare up, which I've heard is quite common. So if you suddenly jump to a ketogenic diet, you will suddenly get a flare up. I did get this, but it went very quickly. And since then, touch wood, nothing on the carnivore diet, nothing at all.
Wow. Okay. So what initially led you to actually even seek out a solution and find the carnivore diet?
Okay, I'll try and make this as brief as I can. But basically, about 5 years ago, I had two injuries at the time running at the time together. So I had basically a bad wrist and a bad shoulder. And as you do, someone who's in sports, I started looking for the magic pill because I wanted this gone so I could train. And just before that, I was using a lot of Pavel Tetsuling's work. If you haven't heard of him, he brought the kettlebells allegedly over to America. He does the Strong First website, etc., etc. And I really liked his stuff. Very good. And all of a sudden, I've seen a video on YouTube by a Bart K. Basically, I can't remember exactly what the headline, but like dissing this guy, saying, this guy's no good sort of thing. I can't remember exact title. So I thought, oh, this will be good for a laugh. What does this guy know? Because I put Pavel on quite a pedestal at the time. I really liked his works. And within 5 minutes of this video, I was like, actually, this guy knows his stuff. The stuff he's saying here that is just almost revolutionary. You just wouldn't hear it in like the sporting world, or not at my level anyway, not as a personal trainer.
Hmm.
And after going into more of his videos, after following him, I found basically the carnivore diet. And he was very much a proponent of that, and he still is. And that's where my research started. I've always been more heavy meat based, but I just didn't go that route. And in between, what didn't help is I basically split with my wife at the time, and I decided to go drinking. I hadn't drunk for years, and it wasn't through stress or anything. I just decided I would. Well, no, do you know what? I want some fun now. I'm single again. I want some fun. And that is what spiked, I think, more than anything, the gout I had.
Yeah.
I have, I have had gout just eating junk food. I have had it before, but certainly I think alcohol is the big one. It doesn't help at all. Yeah.
Wow. So, did you ever have any issues with drinking and things like that, or is that just something that you always did in moderation?
No, truthfully, I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. Have I got an addictive personality? Maybe, I guess, but alcohol's addictive. So that's my argument to it. Um,
Fair
I,
enough.
I think, I think if most people are honest, I'm not saying all, but most people, if they're really honest, they have a drinking problem. They have to drink on set days, or they drink too much, or both.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
So you found Bart K, and then where did you go from there? I mean, how long did it actually take for you to actually start implementing the carnivore diet?
I say probably about, I started going the meat way, so more heavily meat based. So over about 3 years, perhaps. That was before I really started getting gout bad, because I'd obviously had the odd flare up, which would last maybe a week and it would go and no big deal. But
Mhm.
it's probably about 3 years after, but I was still following the carnivore sort of community. I was still there lingering, watching as many videos, probably read about 30 books associated with keto, carnivore, and things like that. So I was always sort of lingering in the background, trying to get as much information about it as I could. And then when I got this gout, I thought, "Do you know what? I've had enough. Let's give it a go. Let's try it." And I sort of, it's gone from there really. But yeah, about a year on keto slash carnivore afterwards.
Okay, awesome. So you were keto, and then you went to carnivore.
Yeah.
Was there any issues or complications when you made that switch?
The biggest one, if you talk about physiological, yeah. I mean, I jumped straight into carnivore, arguably, because I mean, you could say that the keto was a transition period, sort of, but I suddenly then cut everything out and went carnivore. And naturally, I got diarrhea. After about a week, I had diarrhea for quite a while. To be honest, to get rid of gout is a minor inconvenience, really, but that's about it.
Yeah, I additionally had that
Yeah.
as well, and I went from a vegan diet 2 years straight into the carnivore diet, and the diarrhea was intense. It was, it lasted about 30 days, and it was almost to the point where I was like, "Is this diet right for me or not?" But hearing all the anecdotal evidence from everybody else and the experiences of everyone else of how the healing has occurred with them, I decided to stick with it, and I'm so glad that I did because, yeah, after that 30 days, it was clear sailing from there. But man, I'm telling you what, it definitely made me question my morals and my beliefs and everything
Yeah.
else for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
days.
No, I have exactly the same. It's for about, like 3 weeks or something like that. And then plain sailing, really. No issues since then. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, have you seen any other victories in terms of, eating a carnivore lifestyle other than the reduction in your gout pain?
Oh, yeah. My gums, they don't bleed anymore. No, I used to, my gums used to bleed every time I brushed my teeth, they would bleed. Now, that, not at all. They're absolutely fine. Um, sleeping, sleeping is far superior, far superior. I can literally go all day, be really tired, really burnt out. Say you've been in the gym all day, you really burnt out, have 7 or 8 hours kip and be up and be absolutely fine, raring to go. Yeah, that's improved. I think general aches and pains are not as bad. I don't think they are. I really think they've improved. I've still got some injury due to the gout. I've still got this that I'm trying to get rid of, which doesn't help when you've got a physical job. That's, I think, more the issue rather than the fact that it won't go or the carnivore diet isn't helping me there.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, and I say my skin's a lot better. I've always had slight blotchy, acne type skin, and that's much improved now. Much improved. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. So, you've noticed all these benefits and things like that, and your life seemingly has improved. So, you mentioned
Yeah,
that you were also a trainer, right? So,
yeah.
what have you learned from the carnivore diet that you've been able to incorporate into that practice?
Certainly got more energy. Certainly got much more energy. Your recovery time is a lot quicker. Definitely, definitely. I see it myself and with clients. The recovery time is night and day. Um, I think Dr. Anthony Chafee mentions about like how sore you get, like DOMs and things like that. And you get sore if you're not. You'll usually get sore if you're not eating a carnivore diet. On a carnivore diet, you don't really get sore. I'm not saying never. I mean, you can, you can get to a point if you work out that hard, but generally speaking, you don't get that next day when you wake up and you're sore. You don't get that DOMS effect, which is quite nice. That's quite good. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, have you had any chances to essentially spread the message about the carnivore diet with your clients? And have you seen anybody actually adopt that diet?
Y- Um, it's difficult with clients. I mean, to be blunt, unless you've got a really compelling why, most people don't want to adopt the carnivore diet because it's very restricted in that sense. It's not. I don't find it restrictive, but a lot of people would. Two people I know have done it. One of the guys, I'm not going to obviously mention names. One of the guys is extremely well developed. He looks like an Adonis. Literally, his body is that developed, and it's natural as well. So something must be working there. He's great physique. And the other guy, he's not so much. He's not really into the exercise, but he's lost a ton of weight and looks in much better shape. So they're obviously getting some results from that. Yeah,
Awesome. So, a lot of people are, like you mentioned, are skeptical about an extreme diet or what would be considered an extreme diet, carnivore diet. I don't think it's extreme. I think this is naturally how we're supposed to eat. But what would
yeah.
you say to skeptics that are looking at you saying you're not going to get enough nutrients or things like this? What would you say to somebody like that?
Try it. Just try it. I mean, what have you got to lose? What? The worst case is you just put them foods back in, don't you? You include them again. That is the worst case scenario. And you can also just research it. I mean, there's plenty of uh, forums, there's plenty of communities out there, YouTubes that you can follow. Look into it. Have a look into it. There's got nothing literally to lose apart from a few days of not eating, well, however long you want to do it for, of eating garbage. That's the worst case scenario, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, can you share a particularly memorable moment that you've had in your journey with the carnivore diet, aside from the diarrhea? Where
Hmm.
you're this is the way that I want to eat from now on.
Hmm. Good question. Um, I think. I don't know about a memorable event, but I think for me, it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, okay, yeah. So when I was eating keto, for argument's sake, I would order an omelette. And obviously that would then usually come with a side salad, sauce, and whatever else they put it there. And I remember eating that thinking, why, I'd eat the egg, the omelette, and then think, why am I eating the rest of this? This doesn't make sense. And that was almost a turning point for me. It was like, it almost clicked. It was like, I shouldn't be eating that. Now, I'm very much of the belief that what you focus on expands. So maybe it's because I was doing a lot of research into other stuff at the time, into the carnivore diet. And maybe for me, it was just, it just fit though. You know what I mean? It just fit. So that was almost a memorable event for me. It was like, okay, yeah, this is what I need to be doing.
Nice. So did you actually enjoy vegetables and things like that before?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. I've never been, apart from maybe strawberries, fruits like that, I've never really been into fruit per se. Vegetables, I don't mind them. I don't mind the taste, and I don't feel that they do me any damage or any harm. But for me now, it's the same. It's the same as what I just said. It's like if I had a plate full of meat and then some veg on the side, I'd eat the meat and then not bother with the veg. 'Cause it just doesn't make sense to me anymore. It's just pointless. It's like empty calories. But you know what I mean? It's just, well, what is the point of eating them?
So do you feel like eating a carnivore diet has made you a better health coach and mentor?
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a few other things. Obviously, I'm on camera trying to think of these now. But it's certainly like my brain is clear. My clarity is far superior because I'm trying to learn a language at the moment, and that is one thing I've noticed. I wouldn't call it brain fog. I don't think I was ever that bad, but certainly it's almost like the difference between waking up with a slight hangover and not, and that's the clarity now I have. And I have so much more energy, as I said earlier, so much more that I can just do things. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't have the odd day where I'm not tired or I don't feel a bit, ugh. Generally speaking, I feel just much better. Yeah. Much more focused. That's the word I'm looking for. Much more focused. Yeah.
That's awesome. So which language are you trying to learn?
German.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toughie. A toughie.
Is there a particular reason or just for fun?
I'd like to eventually move either to Germany or Austria and start up a business over there to do with sports. I'm not sure what sport, whether it's in the climbing bit industry or the nutrition side of things. I'm not sure yet, but I'm certainly working that way. And the carnivore diet is definitely helping me try and achieve that because it's almost like a little niche there.
I have similar results with focus with filming this documentary and, my personal business. The focus is
Mm.
just, it's off the charts. I can
Yeah.
actually accomplish honeydew lists and get all this other stuff done. It's insane. So whereas
Yeah.
before I was just in a fog, I can't even describe how it was. And when I was in it, really didn't even understand what was going on. Like you really didn't understand how much of a brain fog it was until you were out of it.
Right. Yeah. No, I've never had it quite that bad, but certainly I just feel clearer. Like I said, you can wake up in the morning and it doesn't matter how tired you were the night before, just feel great. You just feel okay. I'm ready to go. And that is,
Awesome.
you wouldn't, I'm not saying you never got that on a normal diet or a sad diet, but it wouldn't be as obvious. You'd have more days where you struggle to get out of bed than not.
Absolutely. So rewinding a little bit, you had mentioned Bart K as who you were introduced to the carnivore diet. So is
Yeah.
there anybody else that you in particular like to, frequent their content?
Yeah. This will get, you've got me now. Let's try and think. Ken Berry, Dr. Baker, the chat you was having last night. Oh, what's his name? Kerry.
Yep.
Yeah. There's another one as well. What's his name? It always bugs me because there's another guy. He's very, very Smith. Something Smith. He's a very clever guy. And I'll just think of his name in a moment, but he's so clever. And it's like, I follow him a lot as well. I'm trying to think of his damn name, but yeah, yeah.
Nice. So is there any particular videos that you watched of these guys that, comes to the forefront of your mind?
Um, no, I mean, to be honest, I've done so many now, but the generalized, frequently asked questions one are always good, aren't they? Or Ken Berry's always a good source to go to. You can't go wrong with him, really. And Sean Baker, can't go wrong with them guys.
That's awesome. So one thing that we didn't touch on, you're a personal trainer, so it doesn't seem like you would need to lose weight. So did you actually experience any weight loss eating carnivore diet?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big guy. Anyway, anyone who knows me, I've always been a slim guy. But certainly last year, or would it be the year before that now, when I was quite heavily drinking, definitely I put on a bit of a belly. Not a beer belly, but certainly a good couple of inches there. And the carnivore diet got rid of that pretty quick within
Nice.
a few months. Yeah, well, even less than that, really, probably 2 months, I'm guessing.
Awesome. So in terms of the alcohol, have you quit that altogether or is it still something that you partake
Yep.
in?
Yeah, that was another benefit. I've again read and listened to countless times of people finding that their habits go on a carnivore diet. I can contest to that. I don't crave alcohol one bit. Never. Miss it a little bit occasionally, sure. I mean, I had some good times on it, but do I crave it? No, I couldn't care less now. Don't even desire it at all. I don't even want it anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
experienced something similar, not necessarily with alcohol, but socially, I think that's the biggest hurdle with this way of eating is just socially. At least for me, it may not be for other people. When you get in those
Mm,
social situations and other people are having a drink or other people are eating this or eating
mm,
that, that's when my craving sensor goes off and that's when I'm having a little bit more trouble. But now that I eat this way
mm,
and how I feel, I don't think I can
mm.
go back to doing that. But is that the
No.
case with you?
Yeah, I don't, to sound, without sounding funny, I just don't care. I mean, if I'm in a bunch of people and they're all drinking, I don't really care because I just see it for what it is. I see alcohol as garbage that I don't want in my body. There's an old saying, I think, and I can't remember who said this, but alcohol will take everything from you and then it will kill you. And that's the true fact. It will eventually. So I have no desire to have it regardless. I actually feel sorry. All right, some people are having good fun on it, sure, but I actually feel sorry for people that have to drink regularly because they don't drink for fun. They drink because they have to. There's a difference. Most of them.
So, I can't leave this conversation without asking about Carrie. So, where
Yeah.
did you first see Carrie's videos, or which one was the first one? Do you think?
Oh, the Homestead Hell. I've just thought of his yeah, his site. I think it was one of his I've done 5 million days of carnivore or something like that. It was one of those videos. I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. Something like 50 days of carnivore. And I thought, okay, this will be good. And I think he mentions getting rid of arthritis, which is obviously relevant to me having
Hmm.
gout. Well, that's slightly different arthritis. It's arthritis effectively. So that was interesting to me. And also about coffee and things like that, I think he had in the video. So that was, yeah, that's the first of his videos I see.
Awesome. So, if somebody is considering the carnivore diet and they're a little bit skeptical, what would you say to them?
Like I say, I think just try it. I mean, you can do your research. You can research it all day if you like. There's plenty of forums. There's plenty of community members you can get in touch with and YouTube gurus like yourself that you can tap up and ask for information. But just try it. What have you got to lose? What is really going to happen in a couple of weeks of not eating fiber? And if it was that detrimental, you'd soon know about it. You're not suddenly going to drop down because you haven't had fiber. And if you think you ain't getting your nutrients, well, ask yourself, are you getting them anyway on a standard American diet, which most people are eating? No. So you're not really putting yourself in harm's way, arguably, are you? Even if you know nothing about eating just meat, you can't do any worse. If anything, you're only going to gain. So
Yeah, I love that. So, where can everybody find you on the internet?
on YouTube, which I'm trying to build a channel at the moment, you can find me under John Mortimer, JBM Fitness, and Facebook under JBM Fitness, and TikTok is JBM Fitness as well.
Awesome. I love that. And I'll definitely make sure that those are linked in the description below for everybody. So,
Thank you.
John, John, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, just a quick one. I think the biggest hurdle, I did a video on YouTube the other day about this. One of the biggest hurdles for starting a carnivore diet, do it slowly, transition over slowly. Even if you're a sort of person that is like myself, all or nothing, do it slowly. Anything you take out of your diet is going to make a difference. So lost nothing by taking your time. Otherwise, the last thing you want is to hit that roadblock where it all goes wrong. Then you have big issues, and they can hit you quite a few months down the line. I've heard this. I haven't experienced that, but I've heard this, and that can derail you if you have that. So you're better off starting and doing it slowly.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with that. If I had gone slowly, I think it would have been a more pleasurable experience and not as violent in the restroom for me,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and not question my decision making. So yeah, I
yeah,
agree with that 100%. But some people don't have that issue. Kudos to
yeah.
them. Yeah, I agree with you, John. I would transition slowly unless it's some sort of a dire emergency, where you need to drop inflammation immediately for whatever reason. But yeah,
Sure.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's it. Yeah. So for the average person.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, John. I appreciate you. And no doubt your information that you shared here today, your story and your journey with gout and the reduction of addictions like alcohol and things like that is definitely going to help many, many people. And I appreciate you being here and I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me. Cheers.